Monday, June 10th meeting of the Conestoga Valley Board of School Directors. I want to welcome all of you here.
Yeah. It's like, what happened?
It's June. Nobody comes, but I'm sure there's loads of people watching us online.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, wherever you are, we welcome you, and please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Martin, may we have attendance, please?
We have Mark Gensel absent tonight, 8 school directors present.
And we have an easy quorum. This is our first meeting of the month where most presentations are given for a vote next week. Occasionally there will be, as there are tonight, some votes that need to be taken on matters that are time restrained. All of our agendas and related public documents are posted on the website along with the board notes. Are there any changes, additions, or deletions to the agenda? If not, I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We have an agenda. We'll start with superintendent's comments. Dr. Hartman, it's all yours.
Sure. Good evening. Just a few items of note to point out this evening. Obviously, last Tuesday was our commencement ceremony as a district. It was a great event. Thanks for those of you who were able to attend. It went off well. Kudos to the high school for their organization, coordination of it. It's a lot of work goes into an event like that. They did a great job. So, two other items that I think are worth mentioning, just on a positive note. Our district was mentioned in Central Pennsylvania, Central Penn Business Journal for our partnership with Millersville University and Precision Robotics for the internship program we have with them. They did a spread on that, and there's other students from other districts involved with that as well, but they specifically mentioned our district in there. So if you were paying attention, this past weekend our bowling team participated in the nationals, which were held right here in Lancaster, but it was the national tournament, and we are in the team event we finished 8th. So we can say we are number 8 in the nation for high school bowling for our boys, and 3 of our individual bowlers made the preliminary cut to go on to the individual championship, which that started today, and I have not heard on how any of them did. So good showing.
Question. How many graduates did we have?
Lots.
300 and
27.
that's the number that was in my head, but I couldn't. 327.
Yeah, 27 is walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
27 walk.
That has stayed pretty steady over the last few years. Okay. Is that it?
That concludes my report.
Board comments on district activities, other than the fact that a number of us are at graduation. Anyone could, I stopped in at the Tech Ed and Career Readiness Teams meeting. And whatever board members are on the Business Roundtable will probably be asked again to join into those meetings. It was really great. I walked through the cafeteria and quite frankly was surprised they had that many of our local businesses who were interested in making sure that our technology was, training in the areas that they needed. And I think looking forward, that's going to be a great asset for a lot of our kids. It's going to bring in a lot more internships and schoolwork programs. It was really great. And this is the point where we have public comments. Diane.
Just real quick, one thing on the back. I'm not sure if we all know this or not, but one real neat thing that seniors get to do is they get to go back to their elementary schools and walk the halls.
Do we do that?
We do.
Okay, I
And
didn't,
it's-
I know
it's-
we had a parent ask about that a couple of years ago, and I just passed it on, didn't know if they were doing
And
it.
it's a neat moment because they get to go see their kindergarten teachers, the first grade through fifth grade, et cetera. Go back to the rooms, take pictures, and it's nice to come full circle.
Well,
with that process.
that was something this year I mentioned in my comments, that they're not graduating from the high school, they're graduating from the district. And the elementary teachers and the middle school teachers are very much, we always tend to think of just the high school.
Yeah.
You know, are you graduating high school? You don't graduate high school, you graduate an entire career with the district. But yeah, that is cool,
Yeah, it's neat.
yeah. And every now and then you'll find a little kid that knows one of them, gets all
They
excited.
do. And you can just see the pride that they have through the whole process, so
And I think the teachers like that
they
too.
do, yeah.
Yeah, last year when Mrs. Hovannik was a substitute principal at the high school, and she had been an elementary principal, and it was so neat for her, because she was giving diplomas to kids that she taught in third grade. And that's sort of special, I agree. And I want you to bear with me with our action discussion items. We've moved all the ones to take votes at the end. If you remember, every now and then we have a meeting where there's 10 or 12 roll call votes, which is a little cumbersome. So I'm going to try to move them together much as we do in the agenda. So just be patient with me if you will. So we will start with budget update.
Good evening. Okay, so last month you gave me the challenge of working the budget further, of coming down from a 2.75% millage rate increase to a 2.5%. And we had some things just kind of worked in our favor, luckily. I'll go over them in a second. So this is just a preview, but next Monday, we do need to have the final approval on the budget. So I'll be coming back then with all the resolutions and the forms and everything else that we need to have approved. So at a 2.5% millage rate increase, the millage rate will increase to 15.762, and that's an $82 increase per average homeowner. So we were able to identify some additional, about $90,000 of some additional access revenue. Access is a program that where we can get reimbursed for some of our costs, special education costs. And under the expenses, we had some minor adjustments, but then I was on a Teams meeting and found out that our property liability insurance was increasing by $67,000 for the upcoming year. And ironically, that same day, I got another email with some updated information about some of our prescription cost savings initiatives, which came in more optimistic than I had originally planned for. So they almost evened out. You know, we could look at potentially getting a $100,000 decrease in cost next year. Again, fingers crossed. That can be pretty volatile. So that leaves us with total revenues of about $92 million, total expenses of approximately $93 million, $1 million deficit, and we had planned to use some of our assigned fund balance all along to be able to cover any deficit. And we have a very, very small surplus of just under $5,000. I do have some other slides here, just they've been carryovers from some of the other presentations, but I wanted to give you this update. I don't foresee any more changes between now and next Monday unless there's really something significant that comes through. Any questions on the budget? We're almost there. I have no update on the state budget. The one thing that I did hear was not to expect a state budget by June 30th. I think we all knew that. And it could go later on into the fall before we have approval. So as soon as we get an update on the state budget, then I'll come back to all of you and give you an update of how it affects us from the financial standpoint. I have the next item too. Any questions?
No, thank you
Okay,
for that.
cool. No, thank you for the challenge, it worked. I tell you, sometimes I would just go through numbers again and again, just trying to find something or waiting for some updated information, and it works, so. So we have a wellness program here at CV. We've had it for quite a few years. And back around 2021, we started having Lancaster General Penn Medicine oversee our wellness program. And I met with our wellness representative from LG Penn Medicine, and I said, well, like, can I see a copy of an agreement? Because I had been going through the board documents and some of the files, and I don't know that we had an agreement with them. So I asked them for it, and so here's the agreement, just putting into writing what our current practice has been. But since this was new, I wanted to give you that little overview. So.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Not that we would terminate early,
Mhm.
but it sounded like if we terminated early, we'd still have to pay for the rest of the time. Although if the employees aren't participating, there wouldn't be anything to pay.
Did you by chance write that question, or where's that?
No. It's in there under termination.
Okay, termination, all righty.
Termination is like the last paragraph or something.
Yeah,
Peter.
it says, such a breach of such character.
Here we go.
The breaching party. There is, under 3.3, that, Dan, this is on page 2, there's the termination without cause. Either party may terminate this agreement without cause at any time, providing the other, either party can terminate with 30 days' notice.
Yeah, but if we terminate without
But
clause.
they will be required to pay the remaining balance
Of any
that's-
service,
Of any services that are.
of any
rendered.
services provided.
that have already been.
Yeah,
already
yes,
provided.
yes.
That's what I thought, because it didn't look like there was a yearly fee,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, it's a per employee per month fee, depending on the services provided.
Thank you.
Any questions?
That's it.
We're rolling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Spataro.
Hello.
Hello?
All right.
Are
So,
you gonna be that long with
so this item is a response to policy 613, which states that the entities for their cooperative purchasing require board approval. So this document lists all the cooperative purchasing entities that the district currently uses. We use them to maximize savings by taking advantage of the centralized purchasing. And it's been a past practice that the district has been using these, so it's just more of a formality.
Do you need approval tonight? Or do you want to put it on consent agenda?
Consent agenda.
Okay, that'd be fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, all of these will be on the
Will be
consent agenda.
consent agenda?
Yeah, the wellness agreement, cooperative purchasing agreement, and one Dr. Mann's about to bring us.
I thought it said we were supposed to vote on some of these.
I thought I would say, just to break the ice a little bit, a little quiet.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Things moving along.
All right, Dr. Mann.
All right, well, good evening. What you have in front of you is a contract with Donna Whitmer. Donna Whitmer is currently one of our techs who's retiring. And we did this last year with,
She's gone.
what's that?
I said she's gone.
Yeah, well,
Past tense.
well, she works until the end of this month, I mean, so, but yes, she's retiring. We're
She told
retired.
me she was going the other day.
Physically,
Yeah.
but days wise, okay. So just to be prudent, we're looking to get this contract with the department being in a little bit of flux. We think it'd just be we're not sure that we need her at this point, but we just want to make sure that in the event we do, we're ready to go. So that's what this says. Any questions about that?
So this would be like on a PRN as needed basis.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. That one's good?
Well, moving on to the next two. Now, you're going to have to bear with me. We're going to do the voting a little different with this. Let's see if we can condense this. So go ahead.
Okay, so the next item is the math and the Spanish textbooks that you had an opportunity to review. I'm looking for approval for those tonight so that we can be ready for when the budget gets passed next week. Everything's ready to go.
Is there any objection to this contract? If not, we're going to hold the vote for the rest of them.
Okay.
MBA?
MBA. As we continue to work on our implementation of Power School, we've come across a couple of things. One of them is in how discipline is handled in Power School. The plugin that's in the system right now, not to overcomplicate it, but the plugin that's in there now is limited. MBA allows us to do more with the data. It allows better interaction between the classroom and the office as far as referrals are concerned. It'll be we'll be able to use that tool then to help with our PBIS data on the discipline side of things. Sarah's going to talk about the PBIS rewards program, but this is be on the discipline side. This will help us just have a better product. We made it through this year with the tools that we have, but we realized that it's not enough. We also already have 2 MBA plugins, and they work very well. We also met with Elanco because I wanted to make sure that we're going into this informed, and they highly recommend it. They've been using it now for I think 2 years, and the companies, at least. They're probably tired of me because I've Zoomed with them like 3 or 4 times now, but they've been very, very accommodating and very easy to work with, and that's the same feedback we got from Elanco. So
Is this for middle school and high school or just high school?
this is district. This is for the district. Yeah, discipline. This is the tool that helps manage it. So
Because I see like the quantity of 4,000, so we had more, but
no,
nope, but okay.
maybe it depends on the day, but no. So
Okay.
then we'll look for.
Any questions?
Quick question, as far as in then, this is for this year, if I'm understanding this correct, you would need again next year, but that would be roughly half the cost?
Yes,
Okay,
Correct.
so every year after that, that
Yeah.
would be
right,
roughly
right.
half, okay,
Which is one of the nice things of that company, and this is true with the other program we have with them.
okay.
Any other questions? Are there any objections to this approval? If not, we'll hold that vote too. Mrs. Schaefer?
Are you gonna vote now for that?
No, this is one again.
Okay, so we're also going to be swapping out our UCBS program that we attempted to use this year for our PBIS data, Unified Classroom Behavior Systems. And it was recommended as the add-on to Power School for our PBIS data management. It did not work as expected or planned. We figured that out pretty quickly, but it was not hooked up to Power School in the way that we wanted it to. For instance, there were buttons on the Power School side that said combine data between the 2 systems. That button doesn't work. So after a lot of conversation with the companies, with their trainers, they told us, well, there's a lot of things in beta development. And that we're hoping that we get to that point, but they're not working yet. Terribly frustrating. We didn't give up though, and we tried a lot of workarounds. And so that is part and parcel to how we got into the MBA side, because we were trying to work on how do we just get to that discipline data. And so we did a lot of work through On Hands, which is an existing program that we have. We did a lot of just trying to work around with Excel documents, but when we, at the end of the day, there was just too many, it was like Swiss cheese. And when we're trying to gather all that data to make really good decisions for these programs that we have into place, the Swiss cheese couldn't be fixed. And if we tried to fix it, it was going to be an inordinate amount of hours for people to collect that data. And so we came back to the table and we looked at other programs that have been in use for years. And so what rose to the top of that vetting process was PBIS rewards. So then we did some online learning about presentations, we showed our administrative team, we went back to our district team for PBIS, showed them what it looked like, came back to cabinet, went back to a number of different committees and said, are we sure we're gonna go with this? And we are. And so that's why we're here today, that PBIS rewards is what we're going to move toward. It's already linked in with all of our staff and students through our Navigate 360 system. So it's going to be a much quicker coordination of kids and data. And PBIS rewards is a known system. And so it works in a variety of different districts around the area. It's frustrating on our end because we work very hard to try to get UCVS to be the right thing for us and we just couldn't make it happen. So we have to start over. So we're gonna have training involved. We're gonna train the trainers. We're gonna have some administrator trainers, coaches. That's all organized for August. And we'll get this moving for the district and it will be ready to go for the start of the year. It has a smaller cost associated with it than the UCVS, not a huge amount, but it is less expensive. So we're essentially swapping out the two programs. So UCBS will be out the door for July 1st, and if you vote yes on this, PBS rewards will be in the door July 1st.
Questions? Are there any objections to this approval? Not one.
Does the old data like feed into this somehow, or is it like starting all over?
It's gonna be starting all over.
Will we
That
have
Swiss cheese is the part that makes me feel a little bit better about it, because there's so much that's missing. So the data that we got into UCBS, we're gonna be able to get some positive pieces out, but not a whole lot. But all the discipline side still stays in Power School and the CAT. So we caught that, but it's not something that we're gonna be able to say, yep, we're gonna take what we have in UCBS and put it into PBIS rewards. We won't be able to do that.
Will we be seeing this next year
Yes.
again, the rewards?
Yep, and so it's a 1-year contract.
Okay.
Any other questions? So no objections to this approval? Then we'll move on to Mr. Odell.
I'm gonna stay here because I'm filling for.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Not that I like sitting here.
I didn't know if you wanted to move that up or just wait, and
I'll wait.
that's one of the things we're trying to avoid, having you run back and forth to.
Appreciate it, thank you.
All right, so this should be relatively straightforward. We have yearbooks located in various places throughout the district. The high school always has copies. The bookshelf right out the doors here always has copies, and I have, as you can see in some cases, many
Wow.
copies in my closet in my office. We do not need to move them all over to the new district office. So I am going to offer them up to sale for whoever would like them. Within a week, whatever's not sold, I'm gonna offer for free, and then whatever isn't taken will get tossed.
Can I suggest you get in touch with CVF, perhaps their connections with the alumni?
Yep.
You know, maybe that
Yeah, it's gonna be a mass call.
whoever runs it for each year
Yep.
may be interested in, having your free.
Yeah, Dr. Huskin's gonna be on my list of emails, and then it'll be just a blast. I'll do some emails through the district, Facebook, and we'll get rid of as many as we can. But I don't need 11 2008 yearbooks to make it over, so.
It starts by what, 1950?
First year, so.
Yeah, I
I'd
forgot.
just like to see that.
Stop on in.
I mean, that's gotta be a blast.
But I would like approval tonight so that I can get them sold as quickly as possible or as many as possible before we move.
Okay, this is the last of our votes. What I need now is a motion to approve items for E, F, G, and H.
I so move that we approve items E, F, G, and H.
Is there a second? Can we have a roll call vote?
Dr. Martin?
Aye.
Mrs. Fisher?
Aye.
Mr. Hurst?
Aye.
Mrs. Kapka?
Aye.
Mr. Tally?
Aye.
Mr. Eby?
Aye.
Ms. Trowbridge?
Aye.
Mrs. Groff?
Aye. That's what I was hoping. We have some meetings where we have a dozen of these, and we do a roll call vote each time. I'm hoping by holding votes, we can just do it all at once. Just have to keep track of the letters we're doing. Dr. Mann.
Yes, so at the middle school, Dr. Mensinger had started an esports club through a grant through the foundation. And so that grant was $15,000, and there was a lot of success with that, in reaching a number of students that love to do stuff like this. I don't know if you've ever experienced it. It's not for me, but it's for students that are very interested in it. This past year, we had 35 participants in the fall. We had Jen Paolo was the MTS coordinator, was one of the coaches. Officer Warner, our SRO, was one of the coaches. And Taylor Lance, a guidance counselor, was a coach, as well as Terry Hawkins, our gifted instructor. All those professionals were involved as coaches. Not to bore you with statistics, but the overall performance and eligibility of our students was very high, based on the feedback we got from the Elite Gaming Live, that 91% of our students were always eligible, and that means that they're passing their classes, they were, and attendance was good and so forth, which is fantastic. That's a great number. And then another number to share with you is that the summary is that they indicated that 227 lessons of interactions for our teams were completed, which means that 100% of the players completed at least 10 lessons within the system, which is, again, a fantastic number. So it indicates that the students that are interested really are interested and want to see something like this continue. And so with the grant ending, Dr. Mensinger has this in our budget for next year, but we need the contract renewed so that we can move forward with that. And this would be on the consent agenda next week. Any questions about that?
Yeah, I had asked about this on a simple level. I have a problem with the district financially supporting a club. Or we'll have all these clubs coming to us and saying, well, why don't we get that? Now, if Dr. Mensinger has it in her building, that's her decision. But I hope she'll be able to continue, because that's not a precedent, I'd like to set.
Agreed. I would I would think that this is only going to continue to grow as far as interest in.
I mean, that's a lot of money for a club to try to fundraise on their own.
Well, with the high school and other programming out there, I'm sure we can look at different funding sources.
Okay.
I don't know what they are, but this is just something this is going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
Nationally and so
It's a great program
forth.
and all, but my problem is if we do it for one club, we're going to have to be doing it for the others, and we're going to get ourselves in a problem with that. But, any concerns, questions? If not, that'll go on the consent agenda.
How many, well, maybe you don't know, how many or what other clubs is the district actually paying for like this?
I don't know.
I
don't think we put money in any of the clubs.
Okay, because I didn't think so, and I thought it had, in order to be finance sponsored or whatever, funded by the district,
Yeah.
had to go through the whole so many years and the participation and all that kind of stuff. And it almost seems like this is skirting that.
I had asked
policy.
once for a list of clubs some years ago, and I was at a bio meeting where they had the president of all the high school clubs. There were 13 people, and I know we have a lot more since then. But clubs are under the auspices of the principal. He approves whatever clubs they have. So that's not really a district initiative, it's a building initiative, and we don't fund them.
Right.
Is this part of that esports?
Mhm.
So if that's funneling for that, doesn't this fall under sports?
Well, that's
And
right.
I know it's a club, it's middle school,
Right.
but it's high school, competition sports.
Right.
so I can
It
see.
it does feed into that, yes.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
feeder program.
The high school club, the high school esports team also has a very strict, as I remember, bylaws. It's unusual for them to come to us with bylaws to approve, but there are sample bylaws for the national organization, and they follow it very strictly. We've never had a club bring bylaws to us, I don't think, before that. But even if they're a sport, middle school, they,
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if they start doing competitions and turn it to a sport and it's no longer a club, then we're looking at different,
Right, it may
Funding.
evolve.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we still have ourselves in
Yeah.
that odd situation where
it's still
they
evolving.
become a funded sport without our ever having decided we wanted to do that. Because they're already there and we don't want to lose them. We'll make it work. So,
But that's what I'm just saying, like if that's the path it's going, if that's a path we could start for next year, and it's
but
not
I don't know
Look into
I
it,
don't know
for
if
sure.
on that level, it's organized as a sport for middle school kids, it's just a club.
Right, well, what I'm saying is, we need to get more students at the middle school level involved in extracurricular activities across the board.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if this is a great avenue for a certain type,
No, my concern was, a sport has to belong to a league, there is no league for middle school.
well, that's what, I don't know if there is one, so we have to look.
Yeah.
Right, we have
They'd
to
have to
explore
look
that.
into that.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
That was
Yes, I
Mrs. saying, she
remember-
wants to be fair for everybody,
Sure.
like
Oh,
a
yeah,
pet rock
for sure.
club, or, you know,
Harry
the
Potter Club, yeah, I
Yeah.
know, I just,
We got a bunch of rocks out.
club's a club, and now I want funding too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I
when
see
you-
that.
No
but
matter,
that's what
it
I'm
may be the
also-
greatest cause in the world, but you just have to be fair for everybody.
Yeah, and as I remember, the esports group when they formed, they did well the very first year.
Yeah.
They've gotten some full
These kids
scholarships.
are
Oh, yeah.
good.
Yeah.
These
Oh, yeah.
kids are
For
good.
four-year
I have
schools.
no
Right.
idea what they do, but it's.
I went to one event that they had, it was interesting,
Yeah, that I can't
kinda
follow
cool.
it very well.
That's right.
showed the
But
light.
I know it's good and I know it prepares them with a lot of tech skills
It does.
indeed.
Oh, yeah.
But still, it's a club,
So it's a club
if
right
you, when you
now.
peel it
Yep.
back.
Okay,
Okay.
that'll be in our consent agenda for next week.
I think that's, thank you.
Okay, our agenda for next week has a lot of items in it. It is a consent agenda. However, I would bring to your attention that we're going to have the first reading of the 900 series. And that particular group has the policy for public employee board meetings. And even though PSBA, has the recommendations, it's one of those issues where we have a lot of choices, a lot of different ways we can do it. So I encourage you to read that, to make sure that we're doing it the way we want. If we want to make any changes in that, and the times, the ways. The choices there are dozens of different ways to do it. So I would ask you to be careful to read into that. Other than that, addressing the board, is there anything we need to hear from the public? No? Okay. The vice president's report, there is none, really, that's a mistake on the attachments. Board initiatives. I would just like to give you a heads up that East Lampeter is getting its Parks and Recs department. They have what's her title?
I think she's a director
Director of Parks and
Parks and
Recreation.
Recreation.
Okay. That they've hired someone for that, so you'll be hearing about that. Other than that, if there are no other issues from board members, we will adjourn to executive session for legal and personnel reasons. With a motion,
So moved. Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned, thank you.
7:34.